Okay, so today started off on a really intense note. I throughout the night, for some reason, my emails weren't going out. And considering the shit that I'm going through right now, I figured that probably wasn't a good sign. And so this morning, I ended up deciding to actually do a journey. And a journey, again, let me explain. It's what I've done forever now. But it is listening to the beat of a drum, a constant beat. And you're relaxed. I blindfold myself. And it is, if you relax enough, the beating of the drum tricks your waking mind into believing that you're asleep, and it allows you to able to have a conscious dream. And that's how I go to the other side and connect with the other side. So when they're calling me a witch, all I'm doing is going inside of myself and going to heaven. Anyway, this morning I went because I was worried. You know, I've been worried, and there's a whole time frame. So I know sooner, the moment I went in, I found myself standing in front of our mother. And the minute I realized that I was standing in front of our mother, I was in the Great Hall. And the Great Hall is where our Father and Mother and Brother Jesus Christ have a throne. That's the stuff that I know shamanically from going on the other side. And standing there, it wasn't, our Father wasn't frustrated with me or exasperated, but the first thing our Father said was, they are totally insignificant. And then the next thing I know, I'm standing in front of the Slime King. And I have this nifty sword that I was given a long time ago. And the only thing that I've ever used this sword for is to destroy their shit. Like, I went and did a journey and went to their little globe orb thing and smashed it with that sword. Just drove the sword into it. And their little pentagrams and their little circles with all their names in it. It's, you know, that's what I've used that sword primarily for. But this morning, our Father said they were insignificant, and I immediately found myself in front of the Slime King. And going and doing a journey is kind of like lucid dreaming, but you don't control. I don't control anything. I just let heaven control the whole situation. And the next thing I know, I use that sword and lop off the Slime King's head. Hey, cognitive. And the minute I lopped his head off, I was in front of a Kino, and I lopped his head off. And because they were using this whole threat of Kash Patel has really been stressing me out. So the next thing I know, I'm in front of him, and I do the same thing. And then after I do it to him, I'm in front of Donald Trump. Do the same thing. Elon Musk. Putin. There was a whole list, and it had never occurred to me to use that sword to do shit like that. And so, and this, as a dream, it's happening like, it seems like it's going on forever, but it's milliseconds. It's happening so fast. And I suddenly stop and go, you know, I need to know the effect of what I have just done. And the next thing I know, when I said that in my journey, I am at the heart of the New Madrid. And our Father basically is with me, which is weird because I'm a mama's boy. Every time I go over, I generally always, I always connect. Our Father and I have always had kind of a tumultuous relationship because I've been mad at him. I hold him responsible. I don't understand. I get angry, but I do whatever he wants me to do. I love our Father. I'm just a whiny bitch, basically. That's my biggest fault, is that I whine a lot. That's why today happened, because heaven had had enough of it. So I end up at the heart of the New Madrid, and heaven, our Father, has me drive that sword right into the heart of the New Madrid. And the minute I did that, all I heard was, the new world is in for some shit. And I started to actually, because there's stuff, how you kind of know stuff, but you never put it all together, and it never, but sometimes it just falls into place. And then it also is like, wow, I've never really looked at it that way before. When it comes down to it, the truth about who founded and took over the New World and the originators of the New World are a bunch of fucking devil lovers. They were all Freemasons. George Washington was a Freemason. The New Madrid fault line. That's what's coming. That's what's coming. And in the end, no one will question God. In the end, no one will question God. And this happened this morning, and it's taken me all day. Hey, Sherilyn, it's taken me all day to actually come to terms with, I don't have a clue what I just did this morning. Don't have a clue. But I can only imagine that would not have a good effect on them, And it was, I should be mortified, and yet we're at the end. We're at the end. That's the reason why heaven told me they are insignificant. Stop worrying about any of it. And so I'm not. And then I get done. I did, dumbass. God. But then after I got done with that, it started to occur to me after this journey, after all that happened, that we're like in this wolf full moon tonight in a planetary alignment. There's 6 planets aligned. And 6, my favorite number. Oh, the whole thing is that I'm not afraid. I'm not worried at all now. I'm not worried at all. I was starting to disillusion myself, thinking that they were going to be able to do what they want to do. And I'm spiritual. Heaven exists. Heaven exists. Jesus Christ came and taught us the Word. We are to live the Word. You're to fill your heart with love. But at this point in time, if you don't have your heart filled with love, I think you're fucked. Because I really do think it's over. I think it's over. And I think that people are going to find these videos after everything goes down and they'll realize it's God. Heaven is here. These idiots wanted a war with heaven. That's what they wanted, was a war with heaven. And so now heaven is blessing them with the war. It's just they don't have the fallen to help them anymore. And mankind is under we all have the same shit. Love God, love everyone else. Have your heart filled with love. If you don't have your heart filled with love, you're fucked. That's how it works. That's how it works. You can like it, you can not like it, you know. However, I just, I don't know. Hey, Saki. Heaven has never asked me to be violent before, but I do have to say that at a point, that's why I stopped, because I realized, wow, this is cool, you know? I would have never done such a thing, but our father was there, you know? Our mother is there. Jesus is always with us, you know? Follow, live the word. Live the word. That's what you have to do. Live the word, you know? But it's over now. The energy, because obviously on the other side there's no blood, but whatever that sword was absorbing as our father was having me do what he was having me do, all of that was on that sword when I drove it into the heart of the new Madrid. It's over. And they are going to be claimed. And this devil-loving bullshit, of course it had to happen in America. Because America was their pride and joy. It was their new world. And it was set up for the most evil shit from the very fucking beginning. And now we're at the end. Now we're at the end. I'm not mad at our father anymore. The whole thing about it is, I'm not mad at our father. That's why father was the one who showed me today. He was tired of me being a whiny bitch, basically. And so he did what he did, you know? This is at the end. This is at the end. I'm whining. The significance of the New Madrid is that it is a fault line that runs in the middle of the United States. It's down, it starts around Missouri, St. Louis, that kind of area, but goes all the way up in the middle. And I have a feeling that that's about ready to move in a big ass way. A big ass way. And the problem with that is that where it's going to hit, and I'm going to be in the area that it hits as well, none of our houses are built for fucking earthquakes. Everything's going to come down on top of everybody, you know? That's, unfortunately, mark my words, it had some significance. It always does. Their shit doesn't matter at all anymore. They're completely insignificant. Completely insignificant. And I have no idea what they're facing. And don't really want to know. You know? I have no idea what I just did today. But we're at the end. We're at the end. They were to be brought down by their own devices. They trained me to be the vessel for their Antichrist. They pledged all their souls to me. Didn't realize that I would jump ship and join heaven. You know? Mary isn't our mother. The concept of Mary, like the Catholic concept, our mother is not this glowing, loving. Our mother is a warrior. our mother is a warrior, you know? And I know people don't like to hear this, but our mother also has two sisters, you know? We're at the end. We're at the end. And people will dance around and they will never clue in. But I'm telling you, what happened today was significant. This morning was significant. And when it was happening, I had no idea the implications. Because I didn't have this whole planetary alignment thing in mind. And this wolf moon, I had none of that. I was focused on, oh my God, they won't let my emails go out, you know? And that argument kind of irritated heaven. That's the reason why our Father took me in hand and directed me, you know? Directed me. Because I would have never done anything like that without our Father right with me. Because there's no way. There's no way. I have no idea what's about ready to happen to them. But I would think that whatever is coming is significant. You know? It's been an intense day for me. You know? It's been a really intense day. So what did I do? I kind of threw some shit together and kind of made myself a celebratory dinner. Because that's how I feel. I'm celebrating. Because heaven is answering its prayers. We're at the end. We're at the end. We're at the beginning of the end is what we are. Babe. And there's no way to prepare for what's coming. Because what happened at the end of that, driving that sword with all of that energy from all of those motherfuckers, you know? Driving that right into the new Madrid. When I did it in the journey, what came to mind was that scene in Excalibur, where the king finds out about Lancelot and Guinevere, and he takes Excalibur and he drives it into the ground. And after I did what I did, that's the scene that came to mind. And that's the reason why I think that it's significant. The benefit for me for shamanic journeys. People can argue all they want about shamanic journeys. But for me, it is a waking dream. And how has heaven spoken to man? Consistently through visions and dreams. So shamanically, I was able to go inside and be able to have heaven help deal with what they did to me as a kid and all of the nasty shit that they did to me as a kid. And so I serve heaven, you know? There's only two sides. You really think I'm gonna serve? There's no way, you know? And heaven was more than willing to take me on, because they had trained me to be the vessel for the Antichrist and pledged their souls to me. So how convenient was that, you know? And so it's just really kind of interesting how it's worked. And it's insignificant now. It's the shit that I've been worrying about doesn't matter anymore, because things are about ready to change. Things are about ready to change in a big way. And this next one, no one's going to question God. What happened in LA was biblical. However it started, even if it was arson, those hurricane winds and what it did was biblical. And what's coming next, people are going to stop questioning the existence of God and the other side. And they're going to either fill their hearts with love or they're going to be claims. We're at the end. And so and I'm okay with that. I really am. I don't worry about anything because I know what's ahead of us. And what is happening right now has sucked. Has sucked. You know? Has sucked. Heaven is answering its prayers. Heaven is answering its promises to me. You know? I can't tell all of you what an honor it has been to serve heaven, you know, in this capacity, because it's all I ever wanted. It's all I ever wanted. You know, they're going to be claimed. All this weird ass shit they're going to be claimed. Dude, stop. But, oh, Jesus. It'll be interesting to see. Sorry, it just took me a minute to get rid of him. Exactly. Rebuke trolls. Fill your hearts with love. Focus on love. That's all I can say. That's all I can say. I'm not worried in the least anymore. You know, this morning I was kind of reprimanded. I mean, it wasn't it's hard to explain. I wasn't reprimanded, but our Father was just, I wasn't looking at it correctly, basically. And heaven exists. Heaven exists. You know, our souls exist. You're going to end up on the other side. You're not going to live forever. No one's going to live through shit, you know? And the New Madrid is how it begins. I have a feeling that the New Madrid is how it begins. And there's a period where it gets worse, you know? But that, who would have known that this morning when I journeyed, I wasn't thinking about that planetary alignment and the energy that was already involved with everything when I did this, you know? It'll be interesting to see what happens, because trust me, this is significant, you know? Significant. By their own energy on that sword, lopping off their heads, driving it into the heart of the New Madrid, which basically was the heart of the dragon of the New World. Because we were set up by Freemasons. One of the reasons why I know that the people who are in control, who are actually in control, is because my aunt and my grandmother were colonial dames. Colonial dames are a subgroup of a much larger group called Daughters of the American Revolution. What separates a daughter from American of the Revolution and colonial dames is, to be a colonial dame, your family has to have been in control of the 13 colonies. And we were. And growing up, I knew that, but as I saw it, all it was a bunch of rich women with nothing to do, so they did the genealogy. And so they did the whole genealogy of our family. And so my dad tells me about this. He's all excited. There were two significant things in our family. One, we were distantly related to Beethoven. But at the very base of our family, we were witches. And it was in the genealogy. And we were one of the first in the 13 colonies. And I told my dad at that time, if we were the first, then we were the worst. And they were just too scared to kill our family. So they shipped us to the Americas. You know, isn't that how it worked back then? And, but that's the history of my family on my dad's side. You know, other than the fact that on my grandmother's side, we were Jews in Germany helping Hitler. You know, that's the genealogy of my family. And it doesn't make any difference who believes what. You know, fill your heart with love or don't. Don't, you're going to get clamped. It's as simple as that. You don't have to understand my ideology. You don't have to understand a fucking word I say. You know, nothing that I talk about being trained by Luciferians. Because that's what Aquino was. You know, that's what they all were. They were Luciferians. And the difference between a Luciferian and a Satanist is a Satanist can be whatever the fuck they want. Lucian Greaves is a perfect example of what a Satanist actually is. He set up the Satanic Temple. He's a Satanist, but he's on record saying he's an atheist. So he's an atheist, but he's a Satanist. And the people that I grew up with who were fucking murdering kids were Luciferians. They believed in the Antichrist, you know? They believed in the Antichrist. They did all of their bullshit, you know? They do incorporate a lot of people, you know? They do. The world was theirs. Right now, the world is theirs. Heaven's getting ready to trash their world in a way that we're only going to, you know, believe me or not, and I could be wrong, you know, I could be wrong. Maybe nothing will happen, but my bet is that in my life, this has been consistent. And when heaven gets involved, it always happens. You know? And so I'm just saying, fill your hearts with love. You know? See, the whole thing about it, they have you looking at everything. The lights in the sky that you're watching is the planetary alignment. In a time that the sun is inundating this entire solar system with so much heat and gamma radiation that it's affecting every fucking planet. It's not just Earth, you know? And so it's glowing. Shit is glowing. Things have changed. We're at the end. We are at the end. And people can say whatever idiotic thing they want to say, but we are at the end. Fill your hearts with love. And I'm not worried about any of this anymore. I have a feeling that things are about ready to shift and change in a way that I can't even imagine. You know, I can't even imagine. And if the new Madrid goes the way it could go, because volcanoes all around us are getting ready to explode. There's a volcano on the shores of Oregon that's underwater, getting ready to explode. Now they're saying the Yellowstone is about ready to have an explosion. You know, there's already a supervolcano in Italy, but what did you think the Earth was going to do? Just let itself get burned up? No, it's going to have fucking explosions and blow all that shit into the sky and block out the sun. That's what's going to happen. LA was already a biblical example of what is happening. However those fires started, what we just witnessed was biblical. You know, fire with hurricane winds, you know, just because, yeah, they may have started the fires, all that, but they had nothing to do with the hurricane winds. Pretty soon, people aren't going to question God anymore. They're not going to question the existence of God. And when they figure out that the other side, that God exists, you know, I don't want a blow dryer. Oh my God, I'm not going to talk about my hair. And I probably won't stay on here long. However, you know, and this is what's happening shamanically, because what's happening in the real world is that I am constantly getting threats, constant threats. And now it's all this cash patel and civil stuff going to illegal, you know, legal stuff, and it's just all, it was exhausting, and heaven wanted to show me that it made not a big fucking, it didn't make a difference. Personally, me, I think Jesus Christ was a shaman. Shaman is just a practice. All it is going inside and listening to heaven, you know? And I was taught how to go to the other side a lot. They drowned me and revived me over and over and over. That's what they did to victims that went through the shit that I did. I wasn't the only one who went through that. Because they figured a near-death experience, you had a strong connection to the other side. So if they did it over and over and over and over and over to you, it just made the connection stronger. And they were correct. You know, they were correct. I don't know how many Antichrists they have. I can't say. I don't know their shit. But I know that this one that they pledged their souls to jumped ship and serves heaven. Serves heaven. Heaven is way more fun, you know? Heaven is way more fun. Joy is way more fun, you know? I just don't understand the whole argument against filling your hearts with love. I just don't, you know? They have us focused on so much stupid shit that won't make a fucking bit of difference here in a bit, you know? The shit that we're all concerned about, that we're being driven on by our programming on whatever shit we're watching on television. Because the algorithm, if you're going to feed into that, it's just going to feed you more and more and more and more and more. You know, it's meant for division. And I'm doing what I need to do. That's what I'm doing. I am doing what I am being told to do on the other side. And I don't see anybody asking my permission to do whatever they're doing in their life. I don't have anybody asking my permission. And so I don't understand why I'm supposed to conform to people's, you know. I serve heaven, and my role has been horrid. Because, like I said, I didn't want to be the Antichrist, but in a way, when it comes to heaven, I am the Antichrist. It's just to a certain group of people. And so I have to fill that role. So I still have to do the shit, you know? And it hasn't been pleasant. It hasn't been pleasant. The whole thing about it is that I'm doing what heaven wants me to do, what I'm being guided to do. Heaven is getting ready to claim them, you know? The darkness in the end will save them. That's what people don't understand, is that the darkness will end up saving them, because they'll never choose evil again. After an eternity of the darkness, they'll never choose evil again. We're at the end. We're at the end. I have a feeling the new Madrid is going to get ready to go in a way that... Just watch. Just watch. You don't have to believe me. But if you believe me, if you don't believe me, if I'm right, it's going to happen. If it doesn't, then, you know, I'll say, well, okay, but I have the impression that, granted, it takes a bit sometimes, but what's coming is coming, you know? Maybe February, when all 7 planets are in, you know? No. The thing about it is that I'm just saying this because I'm just trying to warn people. I have been at this whole trying to bust all of this stuff with the Dead Isaac Cappy Club and helping Isaac Cappy and exposing all of this stuff and writing a book for years. I have tried and tried and tried and tried and tried. And I'm tired of waiting on people. It was way better to go to heaven, you know? Way better to go to heaven. Heaven's plan is being fulfilled. Why is it so hard to actually fathom that at this moment in time, heaven this time would not only require angels, but the help of man? And I was someone that they raised to believe that I was the vessel for the Antichrist. They pledged their souls to me by slaughtering a bunch of kids. And I've said this from the very beginning, over and over and over, year after year after year. And so I'm just saying that heaven, what heaven has promised, the work that I have done because of my relationship with heaven has made a difference. And it's about ready to pay off. That's all I'm saying. And believe me or not, won't change anything. And everybody knows what's coming, right? We all foresaw. I'm telling you, my work with heaven has worked. The whole lot of them that were involved, primary people, what happened today was a huge game changer for heaven. You know, there's a lot at play that people do not understand. They just don't understand. And what I'm doing and what I've done in my life, no, I don't suggest anybody else do it. You know, I don't suggest anybody else do it. But regardless, shit is coming down. Shit is coming down. If the explosion, the super volcano explodes in Italy, which it's expected to anytime, it's going to decimate mankind. if Yellowstone is now they're saying is probably going to explode, if it goes off, we're decimated. It's done, you know? And so all of this stuff, and everybody thinks that they're going to be saved. And that's, yeah, but a lot of us are going to die, you know? And my role in this has been really, really, really interesting. Nobody else could have done what I've done. That's true, cognitive. And it's not an ego thing. It's just how many of you went through the training of Luciferians? You know? How many of you had went through kid after kid after kid slaughtered for you in your behalf? You know? While they pledged their souls to you. You know? Because that's what I went through. And people can say whatever they want, but it had an effect on me. You know? So I had to seek out heaven. That's what people don't understand is that, of course, I'm on heaven's side. Because I was doing everything I could to get out of being the vessel for the Antichrist. We're at the end. We're at the end. Fill your heart with love. If you walk away from this, whether you believe what I have to say or not, please fill your heart with love. Come away with just that. Focus on being a better person. You know? Be the reason why you're better for coming into someone's life. Even if it's just for a second. You know? We only die physically. That's just it. We leave this life, but what's waiting for us on the other side, this time, there is no death. And the weeding is getting ready the goats are getting ready to be separated from the sheep. We are also at the faithful are at the beginning. Everyone's at the beginning. Because if you get claimed from the darkness, let me begin to tell you, you're only at the fucking beginning. You're only at the fucking beginning. You know, but there is no death next. When we die, there is no death. You know? Those of us who wake up on the new earth will breathe joy. I've said this. You know? That's the reason why and you can't get there unless you have a heart filled with love. You need that energy in your heart to be able to ascend. And once you're there, there's interaction with heaven and mankind. And all it is a loving, you know, there are no fallen, there is no evil. But that's on the new earth. You get claimed by the dark. You're going to spend an eternity dealing with nothing but evil. 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 The shit that these people have fucking done to me has been nothing but fucking evil. Flat out, it's been evil. Hitting me with their shit, terrorizing me, breaking into my house. It's been fucking evil. But the issue that they have with me is that I'm able to take that and channel it all into the darkness, to give it all to the dark, because the dark is controlled by our father and mother as well. You know, evil spreads like a virus in mankind's heart, and the dark is the vaccine. Spend an eternity in the dark, you'll never choose evil again, you know? Never choose evil again. So it's everyone's choice. So you don't have to understand or accept or believe what I'm saying. It doesn't matter. my, let's call it dogma, does not matter. What does matter is fill your heart with love so that you are able to ascend. Do what we were commanded to do. But things are about ready to go. There's some major shit afoot. Major shit afoot. All of heaven is here. All of heaven is here. Has been here. And has been in war footing for a long time. You know, has been on a war footing for a long time. Because these idiots wanted a war with heaven. So they're getting a war with heaven. You know? The fallen have already been dealt with. In one way or the other. Now it's man. You know? They wanted a war with heaven. They're getting a war with heaven. Unfortunately, a war with heaven brings the fucking wrath of heaven. So if that's what they wanted, that's what they get. You know? The word of Jesus Christ, the word is love. Love God, love everyone else. Those are the two commandments we were given. Love God, love everyone else. Those were the two commandments we were given. They weren't fucking hard. And if you're doing those two commandments, the 10 commandments given to Moses are a no fucking brainer. You know, that's why he fulfilled the word. We are to try to emulate as best as we can what he taught. You know? That's how it works. You know? We're to emulate. And we are at the end. You know? Serious shit is getting ready to come down. And there is an army of us out here that hear what I'm saying, that identify with it within yourselves. You just have to believe in yourselves enough to accept what your heart is telling you to do, no matter what it is, you know? Because there are some of us who are being called by heaven. I'm certainly not the only one, you know? I'm just one that... Who was I going to go to get out of being the vessel for the Antichrist but heaven, you know? Because there's only two sides to this. And obviously the side that got me there wasn't going to help me. So it doesn't make any difference who goes to heaven. It makes a difference of you're not going to ascend to the new garden if your heart is not open. Flat out. Guys, you got to give me 2 seconds. Oh. Sorry. Coffee was not cutting it. So, The difference between what I do and what most people connotate with shamans is that what I'm able to do is focus my intent and my consciousness like I was trained to do at Offutt Air Force Base, and use that, but I don't end up doing anything. I do that work and then consciously go inside and take it to heaven and give it to heaven and ask heaven to deal with it. That's what I have always done. That is the difference between what I do and the group that trained me. Because they fancy themselves as warlocks and witches, and it's their power, and they're casting, and they're doing their shit. It's all about them. And the difference between me and them is that it's not about me at all. I take it to heaven and ask heaven to do it. Because, like I said, the results, the time it takes so much longer, but the results are always spectacular. The results are always spectacular. And I'm just able to do what they trained me to do and then take it to heaven. And instead of me doing stuff, because I already gave my sacrifice. My sacrifice in all of this, when I started, you have to understand, when I started, I was certainly not, and I wouldn't consciously call I'm a Gnostic Christian, if anything. You know, I don't serve a person. I serve the Word. And I emulate the person because he's our brother and he showed us the way. That's the whole thing. It was through him that showed us the way how to do it. And you're not powerless to change, but you're running out of time. When you breathe, as you breathe, you have the chance of redemption. But your breath is getting ready to all of our breaths. You know, this planet is about ready to respond to what the sun is fucking doing to the whole planet and the whole solar system. You know? And considering that we're at this weird alignment, which has effects on gravity, you know, though people don't really understand that, it has an effect on gravity. All of this stuff is biblical, you know, unless you think someone can control the planets. But it's all having an effect. It's all having an effect. We're at the end, and the new Madrid is getting ready to go. Because what I just did this morning changed everything. Changed everything. I can say that. I can say that. I've been at this for far too long and have seen the results of what happens too many times. You know? Just because people feel uncomfortable with it and it's not their way, which it shouldn't be your way. You know, but right now it is my way. It is the way that I was able, you know. I can't tell you when it's going to happen, but I can tell you what I did this morning and everything that happened in my journey. Heaven's not confused at all. Heaven is not confused at all. The thing about it is you can't hide your energy. You can't hide your energy. And that's the reason why the darkness is able to claim its own. And because of what happened this morning, I realize now that heaven isn't playing around. Our Father is not playing around. Because what happened today in my journey would have never happened without our Father doing it, you know? And even though I was the one who was doing it, our Father was right there, showing me, this is what you do, you know? This is what you do. And that's what I'm going to continue doing. Because now that I know that I can, it's an option and I can do it. The shit that they taught me is really cool, and I'm really good at it. I'm really good at it. The shamanic stuff actually saved me. Because had I not figured out a way how to control it, which is the shamanic side, what they did and what they opened inside of me as a kid would have consumed me. And once it consumed me, I would have been a goner. You know, heaven saved my ass and more than once. You know, that's just it. Huge things. We're just meant to be here. You know, we're all meant to be here. And there's some of you who will hear the truth in what I'm saying and wake up within yourselves. The kingdom of heaven is inside of us and all around us. You know, once you start realizing that, trust your heart, trust your instinct, you know, and focus consciously on doing everything you can to be a better person to you and all those around you, you know. Nothing that I do is pagan. All I do, dude, is pray differently. You know, instead of talking, that's the difference between what I do and what most people do. Prayer, for most people, is talking. Talk. This is what I want. This is what's going on. This is what I need, blah, 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 blah. What shamanism is actually going inside and listening. That's the difference. That's the only thing that makes a difference. You know, it's just, I connect with heaven inside of myself, and I use shamanism to do it. Listening to a beat of a drum and getting my brain to, tricking my brain to think that it's asleep when I'm awake is very effective in listening to heaven. Realizing that heaven speaks to us in visions and dreams. That's why I say, I think Jesus Christ, he did the same thing I did. He went inside. He found heaven inside of him. That's what enabled him to be able to keep going forward. You know, all I'm trying to do is emulate Christ. That's all I do, you know, is try to emulate Christ. And I just don't see what the big deal is, you know? The stuff that I was trained to do is conscious intent, you know? Knowing where you need to focus things and, you know, being sure of what you hope for and certain of what you do not see. Being sure of what you hope for. That means you have to be honest about the whole situation and look at it in a way that is honest so that you get all perspectives. That means looking at things that you don't want to look at, things that make you uncomfortable, things that are just, well, dude, do whatever you need to do to fill your heart with love. That's all I'm saying. Do whatever you need to do to fill your heart with love. I am not feeding you right now. Do whatever you need to do. Or don't. Or don't. And suffer the consequences. That's how it works. I'm really not going to stay on here all that long. I have stuff that I have stuff that I want to do when I have animals who are kind of desperate for my attentions. God made drums. You don't even need a drum. You could get a metronome. You know those things that go, that musicians use? That works too. It's the same concept. It's basic shit, And all I do is go in and actually commune with heaven that way. Instead of talking, I want to listen. I want to be shown what I need to do. And I'm just saying that actually do whatever you need to do to fill your heart with love. Do whatever you need to do to fill your heart with love. The shamanic stuff that I did helped me save my soul. That's all I'm saying. And I love our brother, Jesus Christ. That's why when I talk about Jesus Christ, if you want to know exactly how you need to work to live the word and emulate what he was doing, you have to follow what he taught. His gospels are infallible. You can't argue with anything Jesus Christ preached. You can argue till your day goes down about the Bible. You can argue about Noah's Ark and Jonah and all of it. You can argue about all of it. But the Gospels of what Jesus Christ taught, what he said is infallible. There's no argument against it. It is how we are to live the word. The two commandments Jesus Christ gave us. Love God, love everyone else. If you're not doing those two things, there will be consequences. And the sad part about it is that heaven needed a man to construct the dark. Because no one knows hate and the shit that we know. Angels don't have the capability of knowing what we know on what evil is like. And so heaven needed a man to help with that. And allowing me to cast all of the hate and the rage and just all of it into the dark for 20 years. Because I was told I could cast whatever I wanted to in the dark. I just couldn't cast on people. And so I cast all that shit into the dark. And was really good at going and finding energy. Because it was what I was trained to do at Offutt Air Force Base. People can say whatever the fuck they want. They can argue about how it's true, about how it's not true, but all of that shit is just their opinions. It doesn't change a fucking thing. You know? It doesn't change what happened and what I was trained to do. It doesn't, hey Amy, it doesn't change the rituals that were happening at Hummel Park that I was going through at Hummel Park with them murdering kids, you know? It doesn't change any of it. It is still relevant. That's what people don't understand. And their opinions don't make a difference. And now we're at a point where none of it makes a difference. Serious shit is right in front of us. Serious shit. Heaven is what saved me. Heaven is what saved me. You know? For me, as I've said, pretty much all my life, none of this has been gray. It's a black and white issue. You're either on heaven's side, God's side, living the word, doing what we're supposed to be doing, or you're on the side of the devil lovers. And trust me, they fucking exist. You know? They just think they can't be touched. They're about ready to realize they're wrong. How are you blocked? Are you the wrong cognitive? Are you the wrong gov? That's what I'm assuming. I am not into paganism. Shamanism is probably the wrong way to think, but what do you think about beating the drum? You know? It's just a different way of praying, you know? It's just a different way of praying. With my community post on GovCorp Watch, referring to this account that cannot be faked. I'm saying that God is all in control. God is getting ready to really change things. You know, and I'm just telling you God exists. And all of heaven is here. We're at the end. We're at the end. That's a you know. Everybody seems to have this idea that Jesus Christ is going to come out of the fucking sky. It's just weird. But heaven works through us as us. That's how it works. That's how it's supposed to work. You know, and for the only way to let that work is to live the word. You know, that's how it works. And if you're not doing the shit, you're not doing it. And a lot of people tell themselves whatever they want. In the end, people will be getting married and living their lives and doing their shit. You're not going to see it coming. I'm just telling you, it's upon us. We're here. You know, usually false prophets do make bigger profits. You know, I just, heaven is here. Just know that Jesus Christ, again, the Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, what Jesus Christ said is infallible. Well, why aren't you coming on as Gov? Because I haven't seen you come in on that. And we had a fake one before. Just not playing any games. And now I just really don't care. Because I really do think that things are just... Whew, you know. This morning was really intense. Because, again, when I pray and go over to the other side and do what I was... Basically, I astral project, but instead of going out, which you're not supposed to do, so I don't do it, I go inside, you know? All right, now that I'm aware of it, I'll look into it, but I can't, there's nothing I can do about it right now. I'm at 112. I'm not going to go very long. Again, I have stuff that I have to, you know. I think that there's some really serious shit coming. And what happened this morning, it is going to have an effect. It is going to have an effect. And I have no idea what is... I don't know what it means to have your head chopped off on the other side. But I can't imagine it's helpful. You know? I just can't imagine it's going to have a helpful effect. And that was all brought to us by our Father. Because it was our Father who directed me to end up doing it. You know? Again, it is kind of... When I go and do a journey... It is kind of a lucid dreaming because you are awake in the dream, but you don't have any control. It's you give yourself up to heaven and let heaven take control to show you. And that's what ends up happening. And so heaven is the one, that's the reason why it is so different for me. It is so different to, dude, you are starting to trip me out, and I'm about ready to block your ass. Because I don't think you are who you say you are. And I'm starting to wonder exactly who you are. In fact, no. They can do and say whatever they want, but what I did today, I don't think can be undone. You know? And I am so not a violent person. I would have never thought of that. I would have never, you know? And yet I have to admit, in the end, it felt satisfying, you know? But like I said, I stopped because it was just like I had no idea the effect of what I had just done. And then to have our Father take me to the heart of the New Madrid and have me shove that, just drive that sword right into the New Madrid. It was significant. It happened for a reason. And whatever, you can say whatever you want, but it's going to have an effect. That's what ends up happening. When stuff happens on the other side, it always affects this side. It just takes a minute, Yes, you do. And I can't deal with it right now. If there's an account confusion, people see, the whole thing about it is that it's starting to become games all over again, and it's like just this intense amount of games, and I don't get the point. I mean, I guess it has an effect, but I just don't get it. And I'm starting to, what I realized this morning is they are insignificant. It was the first thing our Father said to me. They are insignificant. And it was said in such a way that it wasn't really exasperated, but it was such a point that it was just like, are you kidding me? And that's what I was shown. And then, like I said, our Father, the next thing I know, I'm standing in front of the Slime King. And then Aquino. And then that dude they for the FBI, because they're threatening me with them. And that took me to Trump, which took me to Musk, which took me to Putin. Putin took me to Saudi Arabia. And our Father was with me the whole time. It wasn't like I was in control, because I give myself up to heaven. I'm like a conduit. It's hard to explain, it's hard to explain. And then in the end, it was me who consciously was just like, I don't know what I've done. And so I wanted to stop because I was just like, wait a minute, I don't, what has just happened? And then the next thing I know, like I said, my Father takes me to the heart of the New Madrid and has me shove that same sword straight into the ground. I mean, I didn't leave it there, but shoving it into the ground did everything. There was an energy transfer that I didn't realize. And like I said, the new world is going to go through some shit. That's what I was told. The new world is going to go through some shit. That's what I've been told. That's what I saw. Take it for what it's worth. Believe it, don't believe it. I'm just telling you that's what I saw. And it has been my experience, the stuff that I have gone through has been significant, and I have an unusual relationship with heaven. Of course I have an unusual relationship with heaven. I was raised to think that I was going to be the vessel for the Antichrist. So of course I have a different relationship with heaven. Raised by Luciferians, who just, now that I look at it as an adult, realize that they were crazy. thinking that you can actually win a war with heaven is really stupid. Sorry. And they're about ready to find out. They're about ready to find out. What I was able to do with what they trained me to do and then going to heaven is that what I've been able to do is allow myself to be a conduit for heaven. I just open myself up and give myself to heaven and let heaven use the energy through me. The stuff that I was trained to do, all of the energy work that I was trained to do as a child, you know, and people can believe it, they cannot believe it. It doesn't change the facts. And if anybody walks away from anything that I'm saying, again, let it be. Fill your hearts with love. Do everything you can to fill your heart with love. You know, get that conscious focus on filling your heart with love. It's important. Or don't, and get claimed by the dark. And you ain't gonna like the dark. I know a lot about the dark. But today was significant. And so, I just want to be on record saying, this is what I did. This is what I saw. This is what happened this morning. So when it happens, because it generally has always happened, it might take a bit, but it always works that way. You know, anybody who's watched me for a long time, I've had people tell me, wow, you said that things were going to happen in like 3 to 5 years. They happened. And I said, well, yeah, but a lot of it isn't rocket science. It's just looking at cause and effect and the logical conclusion of what is coming, you know? But they just never realized that the one that they raised to be the vessel for the Antichrist could free the entity that was inside my dad. Because they were right. What lived inside of my dad did come and inhabit me. I wrote a book about it. You know, I've been very open at what happened. What happened when my dad died when I was 39, and what happened on my 40th birthday. And so, okay, I can't talk to her right now. I'm gonna have to get off here because she's gonna go back. But heaven is here. Heaven is here. What you fucking do right now matters in a way that you cannot even begin to conceptualize. It matters. Fill your heart with love. That's the message is simple. You know, fill your hearts with love. It doesn't make any difference who the messenger is. You know, when it comes down to it, your shit okay, I gotta get off here. Have him email me. Yeah, I know. Someone impersonated him. That's what, you know. Just have him email me and tell me what I'm supposed to do. You know. But I can't do it right now. It's not going to happen on this live. But I'm going to get ready to get off here anyway. You know, I'm telling you, heaven is here. Jesus, emulate Jesus as much as you can. His commandments are simple. Love God, which is basically love life. Love God, love life, and love everyone around you. It's 2 fucking commandments. How hard is that message? And what's the argument against that? That's what I don't understand. I never understand the argument against those 2 things. You know, the message is the same. What I'm telling you is not even original. It's just the same message. Fill your hearts with love, because right now we're fucked. Because I'm telling you, what I did this morning is gonna have an effect. I have no idea what I have just wrought upon us all. I have no idea, but I'm telling you, it was significant. It was significant. It has. I'm just probably gonna go to bed early and because it was significant. I don't know when, but I know what happened this morning is significant. Lopping people's heads off with a big ass sword was, you know, but it wasn't like what you'd think, because it was just, you know, and I would have never done it had our Father not been there directing me to it, you know. Of course, I make the choice to do it, but I would have never done it without permission. I love heaven. I love heaven. You know, I love heaven. And today was significant. Today was significant because all that energy from doing that was in that sword when I drove it into the heart of the new Madrid. And then I was again shown the new world is going to go through some shit. And if you want to see what I was shown, go watch. Do it on Google it on YouTube. It's when King Arthur finds Lancelot and Guinevere in a bed together out in the, you know, forest. And he drives Excalibur into the ground. And that's what happened today. That was the image that I got after I did what I did. Because it wasn't, you know, that's how it works. That's how it works. And so I don't know what's coming, but I also know that there's a whole army of you out there who are going to listen to me eventually, and it's going to wake your asses up. And my prayer and hope is that you are able to believe in yourselves enough to realize that God can speak to you, through you, from inside of you, and all around you, you know? And that's just, and the way to do it is to emulate Jesus Christ and live the word, you know? Live the word. I am exhausted. I am exhausted. It's been an intense day. An intense day. I have no idea what I just did this morning. I have no idea what I just did this morning. And again, I would have never done it had our Father not been right there They wanted a war with heaven, and they certainly fucking got it today. That's all I can say. It just came to me. They wanted a war with heaven, and they certainly got it fucking today. It's just on the other side. That's, in the end, it felt so satisfying because it was so easy. You know? It just never dawned on me that I was going to be required to use that sword to lop people's heads off. You know? And this is on the other side, so it's all spiritual. So it's not like it's here. It's not like it's this grotesque, awful, you know. It was just, our Father was directing me, putting me in front of people, and I was just doing what you know. It was kind of strange, you know, and intense. But of course, heaven would use me. I was trained how to do this shit, you know? So of course heaven was, you know, and I was more than eager to serve heaven. I think that serving heaven, even though it's been hard and it's been awful, I just really think that it's so been worth it. You know, it's so been worth it. So been worth it. I actually kind of had a celebratory dinner today, to be quite honest. After the first, it was like right at the beginning of the month. I live in Iowa, so hams like dropped to nothing. And I bought a whole Cure 81 ham for $11. And I cooked that today because that'll give me just meal after meal after meal. I'm not a big ham person, but I figure if I mix it with enough crap, I'll be able to, you know, at least I'm getting protein, you know, because a lot of people lack protein. And so I'm going to pray, and then I'm going to get off here because I'm once again being inundated. I have someone just won't leave me alone. You can refreeze it, that's just it. Now that I've cooked the ham, and it was already smoked, but I candied it. I mix it with mustard and brown sugar and cayenne pepper and pineapple juice. Because I put pineapple on top of it. And brown sugar. Did I say brown sugar? No, you're not getting up on me. Go on. Go on. I'll be down in a minute. I'll pray and get off here because you can see I'm just being inundated. I'm just, you know. Heaven, we come to you as our children. I ask that people hear my words and are able to believe in themselves enough to open themselves to hear you from within them so that they may fill their hearts with love. I realize that what is coming, no one is going to question you at all. That is the reason why I was compelled to do this video tonight, because I know you wanted me to say before it happened so that people could look back and be assured that without a doubt you exist. And we are to fill our hearts with love, or we will be fucked. And we all know it, and we've all been told it. Whether we want to do it or not, I guess that's why a bunch of us are going to end up in the dark, and only a handful of us will end up in the new garden. But we sure are grateful and thankful that you sent our brother, your son, Jesus Christ, to us, who not only taught us the word, but lived a life that we are to emulate. He showed us the way. And we are grateful that we have been given that opportunity to follow what he taught, because what he taught is infallible. There is no argument that can be had at all with what he taught. And so we sure are happy, grateful. This time is going to be hard, but we know that that's what's going to help save us all. And that's what's important. So we say these things lovingly in your Son, our brother's name, Jesus Christ. Amen. So, I really like that prayer. I just, it's time for me to get off here because my dogs are just driving me crazy. No one is going to go to the new age. Fill your hearts with love. Follow Jesus Christ. The whole thing about it is that it's not about me. Fill your hearts with love. Whatever that takes, wherever you go, fill your hearts with love. Period. It's the same message Jesus Christ gave us. It's the same message. And so it's not about me. I'm just pointing out what has been said already. It's not original. I didn't make it up. It's not all about me. I'm just saying, in your own individual, personal lives, however fucking way you have to figure out how to do it and how to actually make yourself think about it, fill your hearts with love. That's how it works. You know? If you have to hide it in the fucking dark, it's not the right thing to do. Flat the fuck out. If you have to hide it in the dark, if you're saying it in secret, or you're doing it in secret, it's not the right thing. Flat out. That's how you can tell. It's not that hard. You know? If you're hurting someone else, intentionally hurting someone else, reveling in hurting someone else, going out of your way to hurt someone else, talk about someone else, screw them over intentionally with conscious intent, it matters. It matters. And it's wrong. And it's not going to serve you well. That's how it works. It's the same as it has always been. I'm just pointing it out. I'm just simply pointing it out. You know, I'm just reminding everybody what has been said. Exactly what am I saying that you have, because I'm just saying what we've been told, you know? And this is coming from someone that they raised to believe. I was raised to be a fucking psychopath. They wanted me to hurt innocents, because that's what they did, you know? And so the whole shamanism thing helped me escape that fucking anger that I had from all of that, you know? And so I'm not gonna, it's my own path. You don't need to judge it. It's not yours to judge. I'll deal with it with heaven when, you know, if I ever need to deal with it. But trust me, I think I am well loved in heaven. That's what I know. And everyone can argue, they can say whatever the fuck they want, but what I know is that I am well loved in heaven. And I don't say that of, oh, I'm so great. I say that because I feel honored. I feel honored because I serve heaven. Everything I do, everything I am, serves heaven. The word, you know? And I'm done. Today, after what I just went through, I know I'm done with all of that shit. It's for me, spiritually, I mean, obviously, spiritually, it's over. You know, today was significant. Jesus Christ is the way. Stop worshiping Jesus Christ and start emulating him and realizing he was the one who taught us the way, which is to serve the word, you know? And so, not everyone is a warrior. That's the whole thing about it is. Isn't it said? Jesus Christ is going to look at a lot of us and say, I never knew you. You know? I never knew you. I'm not worried about that for me. I'm not worried about that for me. That's forgiveness is more about for you than for everyone else. That's the reason why you should forgive people who don't give a fuck whether you forgive them or not. Because it's more about not dwelling on the dark ass shit that situation causes. You know, it's choosing when not to focus on the anger and the hate and the rage. And it takes a conscious intent anymore to do that. Because there's such a push to focus on the anger and the hatred and the resentment. It's going to take a conscious effort right now to not think that way. And to think that way and be focused on the anger and the hate and the resentment and the entitlement and the constant want is not going to serve you well. But honestly, after today, I think the last grain from the hourglass has fallen. It is over. And for some of us, the shit is just beginning because the new garden is before us, you know? And the ultimate promise to me with heaven was that there would come a point that all of the shit that I have had to deal with in this life will fade away like a dream. And not even a bad dream, because bad dreams linger. It'll fade away from me like a dream. And I will never again, ever have to focus on the shit that I've had to go through in this life. That's what I've been promised, you know? And the faithful get to the new garden and they get to live the word like it was always meant to be. That has been my ultimate, one of my ultimate goals in all of this, is getting the faithful to the new garden and then allowing it, helping to get it so that it works like it was always supposed to work. Heaven gets to work with mankind at will. And it's people, everyone who's in the new garden, breathe joy. Because it's just joy and love and just, it's the way it was always supposed to be. It's the way it's always supposed to be. And that's coming. That was also a promise to me at the very beginning, you know, that the faithful would be safe. But the only way for the faithful to be safe is for these fucking butt wipes to be claimed. And they have to go somewhere. It's not like they just die, you know, they have to go somewhere. So heaven made the dark. And then just happened to bless me with it, to let me construct it by casting the nastiest shit you could even imagine. You know, people can say whatever the fuck they want, but I am telling you, there is a reason why I had to talk about the depths of the dark within me so much in therapy. Because when I started casting after 2 decades, it was weird because I realized that there was no depth to my darkness. In mankind, there's no depth. It'll never stop. It'll just keep falling lower and lower. The bar just keeps falling lower and lower and lower. That's what I learned dealing with the dark. But the stuff that's in the dark that's waiting for people. And then I asked heaven to bless it with the wrath of heaven. And that's in there. People have no idea what I've constructed with this. You know, and you can say whatever the fuck you want. I'm just telling you. With the shamanic stuff that I've learned how to do, I have spent since I was 27 years old on a consistent basis, working with heaven, using what I was trained to do as a child and given as a child, and going inside and doing all the shit that I was taught, but going inside and doing it and communing with heaven and working with heaven has had brilliant results. Brilliant results. And I'm telling you, without a doubt, heaven exists. Heaven exists. God exists. Heaven exists, and it's better than you can even imagine. And the new garden is better than you can even imagine. And it's really nice to think about, but let me also point out, for a lot of you, is that yes, it's nice, and it's ahead of us, but it's not here yet. And we have an obligation to do what heaven is asking us to do. And if you are being summoned by heaven, you know you're being summoned by heaven. There's no doubt in your heart that you know you are being summoned by heaven right now. That is my experience. And so it's worth it to answer the call. It's worth it to stand up and fight for the word, you know? And a lot of you know the word. You feel it. It works within you even instinctually. Because it's who you are. It's so much nicer to love than it is to be caught up with all that shit that so many others are caught up with. And it's not well, no, that's not true. It is an us or them, because it's a black and white. You either serve heaven or you serve the dark. That's how it works. You can only serve one master, and there's only 2 to choose from. So you're serving one. And if you're sitting on the fence thinking that you're not serving either, you're serving the wrong one. There's, no sitting on the fence on this one. You'll fill your hearts with love and live the word as much as you can and as best as you can, or let the fucking darkness take you over and get claimed by it. That's your two options. And you can bitch and complain and argue and justify and whatever stupid shit you need to tell yourself in order to untwist your panties. But none of that changes the truth. And the truth is, fill your heart with love. Because if you do not, you're going to be claimed by the dark. And the reaping is right in front of us. It's right in front of us. So if you want to learn, if you want a chance, go read Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. At least read what the fuck Jesus Christ said. Stop listening to people telling you what the fuck it said and go read it yourselves. If you can read and you can comprehend, and everyone thinks they're so smart, so reading and comprehension is part of that. If you're so intelligent, go read Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John and figure out what the fuck it is you think is so wrong with what that man said. We are to emulate him, not worship him. Jesus Christ wasn't a fucking cult leader. Simple as that. We were to emulate him, not worship him. I don't know how hard it is. Fill your hearts with love. If you have to worship Jesus Christ to fill your heart with love, then do whatever the fuck you need to do. But fill your hearts with love. Love God, love everyone else. The two commandments have not changed. And they weren't suggestions. They were commandments. We are to do it. You are to do it. If you do not do it, there are going to be consequences. That's how it works. That's how it's always worked. We've always knew it was going to work that way. Nothing has changed. Fill your hearts with love. Love God, love everyone else. If you're doing those two things, the 10 Commandments are a no-brainer. If you have any questions, go read what Jesus Christ said and try to understand that and incorporate it as much into your thought processes as much as possible. But if you can't do that, stop thinking and doing and saying evil shit about each other. That would help. If you think of something evil, at least think of something positive right after that. Consciously make yourself think that way. Because it's not just going to happen instinctively. Osmosis isn't a real thing. Just because you sleep with the book under your pillow doesn't mean you're going to absorb what's in the book in your sleep. It's a simple process. But what I think from what I saw this morning is, fuck it, do it, don't do it. We're out of time. We're out of time. What heaven showed me is this is it. Because what I saw, I have no idea. I have no idea. This is what I saw. That's how I'll finish it. This is what I saw. This morning I journeyed because I was worried because my emails weren't getting out. And I thought that was a bad sign. So I went to go journey to actually see what I needed to do. And so The minute I went inside and went in a journey, I ended up face to face with our mother. And the minute I realized I was in front of our mother, the next thing, I was in the great hall. In heaven, there is a great hall. And in this great hall, our Father has a throne, our mother has a throne, and our brother, Jesus Christ, has a throne in this great hall. That's the stuff that I've gone through in all the years that I've done shamanism. All the years. And when I was in front of Father told me, the first thing Father told me was, all of this is insignificant. And it was said in such a way that there was kind of just like an exasperation, maybe kind of thing, son. But the next thing I know, I'm in front of the Slime King. And the sword that I've had for years, it came with the armor that I was given. I start lopping people's heads off. Slime King, Aquino, Kash Patel, Trump, Elon Musk, Stephen Miller, Putin, Benjamin Netanyahu. And all through this, Father is the one who's putting me in front of these people, and I'm doing what I've been told to do. Never been asked to do anything like that before, ever. Ever. It was intense. It's been intense. It's been an intense fucking day. Because it was just intense. So I reach a point where I'm like, this needs to, I don't know what I've just done. This needs to stop. And the minute I thought that, the next thing I know, I'm at the New Madrid. And Father is with me and tells me to drive that sword into the New Madrid. And so I did. Drove it right in, And what I heard was the new world is going to go through some shit. The new world is going to go through some shit. And then I had this image of that scene from Excalibur, where King Arthur finds Lancelot and Guinevere together, and he drives Excalibur into the ground. And that's what I got, only way more intense, because this is all heaven. This is all heaven. I don't know what I did. I just know that whatever I did today is going to have significant consequences. I have never, and I've gone through some intense shit. Spiritually, I've gone through some intense shit. I'm just, and I haven't even been reading anything. All I'm telling you is what I know. All I'm telling you is what I know. And what you need to understand is at the very beginning, when I got involved with all of this, I was so not Christian. In fact, my background was complete Luciferianism. And so I came at this at a Luciferian perspective, not even a Christian perspective. Not at all a Christian perspective. I came in here ready to make a deal with heaven, And that's I haven't been reading the conversation, people, sorry. If it's, who can keep up? They're so stupid. Yeah, that's happening. That's happening. Trust me, that's getting ready to happen. I don't know what is coming. I don't know what is, all I know is fill your heart with love. Fill your heart with love. Fill your hearts with love. every day do something that someone thinks that their life is a little better just by encountering you. Smile at people. Be friendly to people. Care about people. You don't have to be all weird about it, but the conscious choice to actually have it in fucking mind is what matters. And if you don't have that, you're gonna be in trouble. That is how it works. You know, love one another. The message hasn't changed. The message hasn't changed at all. And so, and I'm just telling you what we already know. Again, none of this shit is original. Not that it's shit, but none of it is original. It's not like I was sitting around and made all this up. You know? I'm just telling people. I'm just trying to remind everyone. You know? I'm just trying to remind everyone. Because right now it really makes a difference. It makes a difference. You know? Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. You want to get a good sense of what it is? Again, what I've been saying. Godspell. Go watch Godspell. One of my favorite movies. One of my absolute favorite movies. Go watch Godspell. It's a musical version of the Gospel of Matthew. You know? And then just realize that we're meant to be, you know, was your TAC. Aquino was just my handler. You know, what you would consider a handler. But again, he was young when I was a kid. And fucking mean-ass dickhead. But he had people over him. It wasn't just like he was a fucking prodigy and everyone just worshipped him when he was in his 20s. You know? And so it wasn't just him. He was the one in charge. He was my focus. But there were so many people that were involved that, you know. So all their stupid shit, they're going to dance around. They're going to dance around and think that their darkness is so great until it fucking claims them. That's just it. If you don't have love in your heart, you have dark in your heart. That's how it fucking works. That's why it's black and white. If you don't have love in your heart, you have dark in your heart. And if you have dark in your heart, you are in trouble. That's how it works. You know, we were told it was coming. What the fuck do you think the sheep would be separated from the goats meant? Nothing has changed. Not a fucking thing has changed. It's just here, now. That's what it is. It's here, now. The very thing that we all think couldn't happen at this point in time, now while we're alive, it is so inconvenient for this moment to happen in my life, so it certainly couldn't happen. And let me fucking assure you, it's happening. It's happening. You know? Okay. Now I know. Just for everyone to know, blissful is Gov. And so, cool. We'll figure out what's going on. I have no fucking clue what's going on. You know? It is interesting because tonight is a full moon and it's a wolf moon. And it's a 6th planet alignment. That's the reason why what happened this morning, I'm exhausted because the energy that happened this morning that I went through, I'm exhausted. It's just, I'm exhausted. And that's how I know it's coming. That's how I know it's something is right in front of us. But it's a 6-planet alignment. And in February, we're going to have a 7-planet alignment. That's how it's all working. I believe in February. Tonight is a 6-planet alignment with the wolf. It's a wolf blood moon, but it's a full moon and it's wolf. It might be a wolf blood. I don't know. That's a full moon. You know? I will not be surprised if something happens at the New Madrid. Not at all. And those of you who have listened to me, just realize it's what I always say. If it happens, I told you so. I told you. You know, I told you so. It's all I ever care about. Yes, it's a bitchy little thing to do, but I don't care. I told you so. I think it's coming with the New Madrid. It's coming. What happened this morning was so intense and so unlike anything that I've ever, you know. The stupid stuff that I've been able to do with the dark, that I've been allowed to do with the dark, is nothing compared to what happened today. You know, lopping off heads is just as significant over there than it is on this side. In fact, in a way, it's more significant. And I understand that it needed to be done. I understand our Father. I understand heaven. But it's still significant. The shit that happened today was significant. That's all I'm saying. And it's going to have an effect. Everything that I've been able to do lately has an effect. Because again, I just go to heaven and ask heaven. And all of heaven is here. And so it's easy to do stuff because all I have to do is ask. That's why I say I'm well loved on the other side. I am well loved on the other side. These fucking devil lovers are gonna get claimed. And they're gonna fucking find themselves accountable for all the shit they have fucking done. And people don't have even a comprehension of how fucked up this group really is. And the shit they do to children. And I know they do it to children because I was a child and experienced it as a child with other children. I know all about it. You know? And so for people to say that it didn't exist and it didn't happen because you're fucking ignorant and your cognitive dissonance can't allow you to think that such things could happen, doesn't change shit. It doesn't fucking change the truth. It doesn't change shit. It doesn't change the training at Offutt Air Force Base, and it certainly fucking doesn't change all the rituals that I went through in Hummel Park. It doesn't change shit. And I am telling you, we are at the end. Fill your hearts with love, because you ain't gonna like being claimed by the dark. And if you are doing nasty, evil shit to people that you have to hide in the dark, or worse, hide from yourselves, your soul is in peril. Because you ain't gonna like being claimed by the dark. Flat the fuck out. And we are at the end. It is time for you to think about your soul, and there is something afterwards. Because the shit that's starting to happen is fucking biblical and has been for a while now. These LA fires weren't just biblical. The hurricane winds, how are they going to even stop any of that with hurricane? That's biblical. There was an F4 tornado last spring, less than a mile from my house. That was biblical, considering the fact that I was out on a ladder screwing with my security cameras. It was pretty much miraculous that I didn't get sucked up someplace. I ended up in Oz. But but still, it's biblical. The hurricanes, all the shit that's going on all around the world. And things are about getting ready to get worse. You know? There's an army of you out there who can feel you are being called by heaven to stand and be the army that heaven sent. I just want you to trust in yourselves enough to know that heaven works through you as you. You know, if you're focused on being an inspiration, you know, oh, Gov, they're just on top of me all the time. My emails weren't going out. That's what started this whole journey today, you know? And heaven was so irritated. Father was so, he wasn't really irritated, but I was pretty much concerned about nothing. Because what I was concerned about didn't even matter. Didn't even matter. What ends up mattering is what happened after that. Him having me lop people's heads off, and then all that energy that was in that sword doing that, going into the new Madrid, striking the heart of the dragon. The new world is going to experience some shit, you know? Because our founding fathers were fucking Freemasons. And Freemasons are Freemasons. The new Madrid. Not the real Madrid. The new Madrid. The fault line that runs in the middle of the United States. And when it happens, people will listen to this video and realize this is what happened this morning. I know whatever I did, this was intense. This was like something I've never gone through this. I've never gone through this. You know? But I celebrated. I'm still celebrating. Because it feels like a celebration to me. You know? This morning was a celebration. Lopping off heads was awful, but like I said, in the end, satisfying. Because even as I was doing it, his father was having me do it, I was understanding. I could feel the reason, you know? And they're fucked. Oh my God, I don't even know what it's going to do. I don't know what it's going to do to any of them. But it can't be good, you know? Losing your head on the other side is even worse than losing your head on this side. You know? It's worse. It's never been, you just don't realize how difficult it was today. You know, it was awful, and yet it's over. It's over. all of the evil intent from all of those motherfuckers. And I knew who every one of them was because I've been dealing with them for fucking decades, you know? And so I was able to focus the intent, and Father just bang, 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 bang. And I was expected to do one thing, and one thing only. And I did every time. Every time. Until it got to a point where I realized, what the fuck what is this going to do? Because I knew it was going to do something. Everything else has had an effect. Why wouldn't this? You know? And this was intense. And then all of that was in that sword. And I drove it into the heart of the New Madrid. So, I'm just telling you that's what happened. And I know something's going to come of it. I know something's going to come of it. And I needed to tell people. This has been a long video. But these last few lives, I feel, have been really important. I started off saying all of the factual stuff and then went to the spiritual stuff, because the spiritual stuff makes a difference as well. You know? Trusting in your heart and actually calming yourself. You know? Overthinking. If you're an overthinker, what's really good? Go burn some incense, rattle a drum, play a flute, beat a drum, and then listen to drumming. Just a Michael Harner's drumming CD is a great one to get. It has 15-minute single drumming and a 30-minute single drumming, and then a 15-minute double drumming and a 30-minute double drumming. Close your eyes, put a blindfold on, let yourself relax, and let your mind go. You know? And go inside. And ask. Seek and you shall find. You want to know? Go inside. The kingdom of heaven is inside of you. You will find, you know, David Marcel music. I need to remember that, because I want to listen to that. This constant beating of the drum, what it does is it tricks the waking brain to think that it's asleep. And it allows you to go commune with God and have what I call it's a prayer, but it's an active prayer. You're actually listening to God and being shown and trying to understand what you're being shown inside of yourself, asking God to show you. That's what I do. I don't do magic and beat around a fire and do all this stuff that people equate with shamanic stuff. I just believe that the kingdom of heaven is inside of us and all around us. And the beating of the drum and what I do, being able to go inside, I feel like it helps me. It's a way that it's a tool that I can use to commune with heaven and God. And doing that has saved me. I didn't want to be the vessel for the Antichrist. And it was through shamanism that heaven, Father came to me and told me, the answer is simple. If you don't want to be the vessel for the Antichrist, it's not like you don't have free will. If you don't want to be the vessel for the Antichrist, then choose not to be the vessel for the Antichrist. The answer was really, really simple. There is no future. The future, everything is about ready to change, and it's about ready to change drastically. Drastically. in terrible ways. In terrible, terrible ways. And right now, there is an army of us. And unfortunately, there is an army of us, and a lot of us will see this through to the end. We will be here till the end. As awful as it gets, we will be here till the end. Because it is our job to help others try to retain their souls at this time and get through all of this so that they can go to the new garden. You know, that's what's going to happen. If something happens at the New Madrid, it's going to be big, but it's not going to be the end. I have a feeling it's going to be a huge beginning. Things have begun, but people keep looking the other way, and I think heaven is tired of that. And so what's about ready to come, no one's going to question God anymore. And when it comes, people are going to look back and realize what I was saying before. And they're going to realize the value and the truth of what I'm saying. You know? Fill your hearts with love. Love God/life and all those around you. You know? All those around you. That's just Way of the Shaman by Michael Harner, you know, Way of the Shaman. It gives you a basic understanding of what you're doing, you know. It's not going to be, I don't have a clue what's about ready to happen to Trump, but I know he doesn't have a head. Elon Musk doesn't have a head. The Slime King doesn't have a head. Aquino doesn't have a head. Kash Patel doesn't have a head. Stephen Miller doesn't have a head. Benjamin Netanyahu doesn't have a head. Putin doesn't have a head. That Saudi Arabian prince doesn't have a head. You know, there's several other people that I ended up in front of that I didn't even know. And that's when it was just like, wait a minute, you know? Because there was a second that I was just like, yeah, you know, yeah. Because it felt good. It felt like I was slaying the fucking 10-headed Hydra fucking thing. You know? It reached a point where it was just like, wait a minute, what the hell is happening? Well, what's happening? You know? And then the next thing I know, I'm at the New Madrid with our father. And he tells me to jam that sword into the heart of the New Madrid. And I did. Because I always do what I'm told, you know? I'm a servant in heaven. I'll do whatever heaven asks, no matter if I understand it, whether or not I agree with it. It might be the 10 Kings of Revelation. It might be. What happened today was significant. Those people losing their heads was significant. And there was no way. Our Father was right behind me, guiding me through every single one. And it was me with the sword that I was given by heaven. And it came with the armor. You know what I'm saying? It came with the armor. But I've never had to do anything with a sword like that. Today was something different. Drastically different. And life-changing. Very life-changing. And intense. It's just been an intense day. It's been, you know, and I've got stuff done, but I wanted to come on and tell people I know that what I did today is intense. I know that something's getting ready to happen at the New Madrid. And when it goes, it's going to be huge. You know, all of their evil intent from the very beginning has been focused on the new world. That's all of their evil intent. All of our founding fathers and all the people that were in control, you know, they were in control from the beginning. George Washington was a Freemason who hung out with Freemasons. So who's our first president, all supposed to be a hero? George Washington, he was a Freemason. And Freemasons, another word that can be had for a lot of Freemasons is fucking Luciferians. You know, they like the devil, they believe in the Antichrist, they like magic, they think they're powerful. They do all this weird ass, freaky ass shit in the goddamn dark and think it doesn't matter and no one sees. And that's not true. People see. People are starting to see now. And what's getting ready to happen, no one's going to question the existence of God one way or the other. You will either fall down and realize that you better change your ways, or you're going to just act like a dumbass and get claimed by the dark. That's how it's written. But what's getting ready to happen, there won't be a question. And that's why I'm doing this video. That's why I'm going at almost 2 hours and 30 minutes, you know, because it's important that this is said, and I just keep saying it over and over and over again. Heaven is here. It's all done. It's all done. What happened this morning is significant. I think something is getting ready to happen at the New Madrid. And if the New Madrid goes like I think it's about ready to go, everything around it is going to become decimated. And the reason why is because none of our houses are built for fucking earthquakes. And a lot of them are old, you know? What's coming is bad. And what's coming is accountability. Accountability and retribution. Accountability and retribution. The days of forgiveness and redemption are coming to an end. Are coming to an end, and they're going to be replaced with accountability and retribution. If you have love in your hearts, you will go to the new earth, the new garden. You will ascend. Our spirits are going to die. We're going to go to the other side, and we're going to stay on the other side. And what's cool about the other side is there is no death on the other side. So everyone who who goes through the gates to the new garden gets to breathe joy every moment of their existence for the rest of eternity, and they never die. Never. They never die. You breathe joy and live the word. You live love for an eternity. And because you do that, and heaven works like it works like it is supposed to work, it's amazing. But right now, we're in judgment. Fill your hearts with love, or don't. But if you don't, you're gonna be fucked. Flat out. All right, I gotta get off here because it's dark and I gotta go close my curtains because I have weird ass people in my neighborhood. I'm not worried about I just know something intense is coming. I will not be surprised if I don't make it through. You know, that's the reason why this video is so important, because I know heaven has complete control. Heaven has complete control. And, heaven is pissed. Heaven is pissed. If you thought that the wrath of heaven wasn't still a thing, then I did pray. Sorry, I did pray. And I got to get off here because it's getting dark. And I've been on here for 2 hours and 30 minutes. These last two ones can be argued because they're saying, oh, he's crazy. He's crazy. Oh, he's going crazy. But I'm tired of just talking the facts over and over and over and over again. And the spiritual stuff is what you all need to hear right now. Because we are at a point in time where people need to wake up. And you need to become accountable to what you're being called to do. And you just need to have faith in yourselves and know that you can do it. You know, listen to your intuition. Trust your intuition. If you're being told to do something and it's wrong and you feel like you have to hide it in the dark, let it go. Bless it. And then consciously think of something positive, nice. Not even nice, just positive about whatever you're dealing with, so it's not just the negativity doesn't fester in your fucking heart, you know? I don't understand the argument about filling your hearts with love, but I understand how hard it is to do. And again, you know, if you want a general consensus of kind of where you need to focus on what you're doing, go watch Godspell. You know, don't watch it because you think it's going to be your favorite movie. It was made in the 70s. It is one of my favorite movies. But what it teaches in that movie is still valuable. And it is that, I forget what they were called because I never used them. Books had these things that actually had the concisest. They wrote all about the book so that you could read that and not have to read the book. I never read that. But I never read them. But, okay, I'm coming. But that's what Godspell is like. It's like the abridged version of what you need to do. It gives you a good focus on what to do. Cliff Notes, that's it, thank you. Cliff Notes. Godspell gives you Cliff Notes. So if you want a chance to actually realize it, it's a great movie. Listen to the message and what it teaches, you know? And it's just a pleasant way of being reminded of what we should already know. And with that said, I gotta get off here. It's dark and my dogs want to eat. So it's been a pleasant, guys. It's been an intense day, but this is a nice way to end it. You know, thank you. Thank you so much. And love you guys, and I'll talk soon. Bye. All right, I'm coming.